AMPION is a Pan-African organization fostering entrepreneurship and digital innovation across the African continent. We have been around for the past 2.5 years. We are currently active in 15 African markets where we run a range of programs.
My reason for joining AMPION was provided a platform for me to learn, to network with fellow entrepreneurs who would share ideas, and those who had gone through the experience of entrepreneurship, and that would really be helpful for me as an aspiring entrepreneur.
Since we have a history of almost 350 years of innovation, we think it's key to success that we secure another 350 years of innovation and more. And in order to do that, we think it's really important to collaborate with partners who are in line with our mission to foster innovation through entrepreneurial success. And we think AMPION is the right partner to do so. We participated last year, and we've just seen the benefits of participating in such initiatives, so we decided to do that this year as well.
Affordable for the client, but then also how do you make it more efficient?
Microsoft has been in Africa for well over 20 years, and in that space, looking at what is it that we can do as Microsoft to build the ecosystem and drive the long-term competitiveness of Africa. So when we're talking about innovation, working with startups, with accelerators, with incubators, so that we're able to provide the best value for up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
We think to create an environment for innovation is crucial to achieve entrepreneurial success, and particularly in Africa, where we see a lot of startups and a huge startup ecosystem coming up. We think it's particularly important to foster collaboration between large corporations like ours and local startups who actually know the market needs and who are able to develop products that are suitable to the markets.
Technology cuts across everything that we do, whether we talk about healthcare or education, and especially government. But the consumer market also has embraced technology. The whole payment and the financial inclusion equation has been transformed totally by technology. So I think as we get more and more people connected, more business connected, more schools and more healthcare centers and clinics and hospitals, lives have been touched in a very good way. Economies are growing much faster, and we are realizing that what is even more important is the potential that lies ahead, that only innovation and education and investment can unlock.
We are here now 2.5 years. We came to Africa because we want to bring German technology to the doorstep of the African. And to make it easy, we think about using e-health systems. And that's why we joined this bus tour, because this bus tour was concentrated on e-health. And we want to help Africa because there's a lot of lack of information, a lot of brain training, because people are highly qualified, but then they go to Europe. And we want to bring the knowledge and the technology back to Africa so they can restart a new way to do diagnostic and helping the people.
What I like about AMPION is their work is touching almost on the three pillars: education, innovation, and investment. But investment becomes important because all those ideas need to be invested in to grow.
We had a high expectation to find clients to work together with us to do programming, because we have a lot of ideas to use e-health to bring diagnostic close to the people and in the remotest area, so people can use all the information using e-health system.
Our next problem is mothers don't know when to vaccinate their children. And even if they know, they forget about it, or they neglect to do that.
I'm very happy to join the bus tour because many young motivated people, they know the country and they're high educated and they know what they're doing, and we will use in the future their knowledge to work together, to make contact with them and to find a level so we can talk the same language. They talk the program language, we are the medicine and diagnostic language, and we find a common sense.
It's really a pleasure for me to be able to catch this moment, because I know that the winners are going to be able to shake some of their hands. I think generally linking these innovations to the markets is also very important, because the horizon at which these young people can see is sometimes limited to their countries, to what they can look up on internet, but it's not enough. I think networking, meeting people, finding like-minded individuals across the world is very, very important. But programs like this, to increase the awareness on the potential of innovation, I think are very important, and they all deserve, our support.
The support startup needs is actually financial support, and to find ways how to use the technology up to date. And we want to find a provider to use this to bring this technology and the knowledge to the remotest area. So actually we're depending on the new entrepreneurs because they have more knowledge about their own country than we have.
Benefits that we as a company can bring in is our expertise, our knowledge, mentoring, and especially also, again, those networks that we already have built and a brand that people trust in. So I think combining this with the innovative solutions of startups, that's exactly what brings the right solutions.
So who would like to work on knowledge about timing of vaccine?
The collaboration with other companies across industries with AMPION, I think, is very much open, and I think there's definitely more room for more companies to come on board. So we as Microsoft have committed to provide resources to make sure that the success of AMPION goes beyond sort of where there is now, but I think there's definitely opportunity to bring on board others, corporations, to bring value-added services. And I think for anyone who's looking at developing their own markets, their own market share in Africa, especially as you're thinking of the next generation, but also thinking of your next consumer level, then definitely I think the startup space, the incubator, the accelerators are places to look at. And I think AMPION as a startup is, I think, definitely one that's looking to address all of that.
It's particularly important to focus on such initiatives that are kind of bottom up as compared to top-down policies or just initiatives from large corporations and also NGOs, because I think it's crucial to involve all people and give them the freedom to develop solutions to the particular problem. If they have identified the problems themselves, it's basically their idea, they're more committed to it, and there will be more sustainable outcomes. And in the end, it generates jobs, it helps to strengthen the healthcare system, it helps to improve patients' lives.
Is the team Mitambo?
I think the BMZ could come in as the link between those different corporations. I think probably by setting up either some committees or really approaching individual companies for setting up direct partnerships between those companies. Alternatively, I think it's also a potential for the BMZ to build up some kind of advisory boards of different companies who either bring together some funding or bring together some mentoring for specific startups.
The German government, in this case BMZ, should give opportunities for the new entrepreneurs to meet AMPION people and sometimes to meet somewhere international platforms, to meet each other, to discuss what can be done in the future. And I'm sure AMPION, BMZ and the invited health providers can do many things to find solutions, because it's not a solution done from a foreigner, it's finding a solution together.
But I think there's definitely an element that we can foster around entrepreneurship, right? Especially around creative solution building, innovation. And so if there's any agency that's looking at investing in that space, especially thinking of sort of capacity building, employability, skills development, innovation, then I definitely think the investment around startups and those that are looking at sort of moving that next middle is definitely important.
One thing we need is sustainability and scalability. These programs are good, but if they stay in pilot mode, the difference they will make won't be as important. So I would say that the most important thing is to sustain this kind of program, not wait for an immediate impact, because innovation, it's not something that you put input and then you get the output immediately, but scalability as well, being able to touch people at a large scale, not just 20 or 50, because we know that the demand out there is in millions. So once we are convinced that it is a good idea. Let's find a way of scaling both in time but also in space.
We are planning to have a rollout in Kenya, expand to Nigeria, Rwanda, and eventually across the whole Africa. My team is made of 4 developers, 1 designer, and 2 business guys. Thank you very much.